Let me show you how you can use any font that you choose on your Brother ScanNCut, so that you'll be able to write, draw, and even cut any design that you like using any font that you choose to use. Now, the Brother Canvas Workspace, the offline or for PC version, is the best version to use when you are going to create designs that contain text. But just before we get into this video, welcome to the Sew & Craft channel. My name is Shireen Haynes. Being creative and teaching are my passions, and I've been doing this full-time since 1993. I post easy to follow step-by-step videos for sewing and craft, and if you'd like to know when I post new videos, please click on the subscribe button as well as the little bell icon, and please click on the like button because this helps me to spread the word that sewing and crafting are fun. Thank you. Also, please click on the link below this video to connect to my website for even more video lessons. Now, when you open Canvas Workspace, the offline version, and you go to the little text tool, if you click on that, you'll see that if you click on the little drop down menu next to that, that every single font that you have installed on your PC will be in this drop down menu. So you can go and choose any font that you like. Now, there is a separate video on how to use Brother Canvas Workspace offline, which explains to you how to go and find extra fonts, how to download them, and how to install them on your PC. Now, I have a lot of different fonts because I make lots of different projects. So I'm going to just choose this font over here for now, just to do a quick demonstration of using the fonts, and then we'll have a look at some of the interesting things that we can do using Canvas Workspace offline as well. So I put my cursor down on my workspace and I'll find a little block with a flashing cursor in it, and that means that I can start typing. So if I want to type a word, I type uppercase or lowercase. It actually doesn't matter, so I've chosen to do this. So now the next thing that I'm going to do to release my text tool is click anywhere outside of that little block, because now it places an editing block around my word. So now I can resize it and I can start playing with this word. Now, there are lots and lots of things that you can do in Brother Canvas Workspace offline, and we won't go into all of them in this video, but I just wanted to show you that you can use absolutely any font that you choose. Now let's start and just have a look at some of the fun things that we can do. So obviously, because we are now in the properties section, we can go and change the color of our letters, and we can also go and we can edit our letters. So if I want to, for example, break these letters up into individual letters, then I go down to the process overlap tool and I say divide. So now each of these letters is an individual. So say, for example, I wanted to cut this out as one whole unit as opposed to separate little letters. I can just take my letters and make sure that they overlap. Now, because they have been divided and they have been separated, I can do that. Now, the thing here is that if I want to cut this or even write it or draw it as a whole unit, then I need to left click, drag a box around all of the letters together, and then I can go down to my process overlap and say weld. So now I've got this word welded together, so now it is one unit. Now I'm going to show you another clever little trick with this word using what we call the offset line. So I'm going to create a line all the way around this whole word. So let's go to the offset. Now we've got lots of options here. We can choose how far the line is away from the word. We can choose whether it must be on the outside of the word or on the inside of the word, but I would like it to be on the outside. We can also choose to have rounded edges, or we could choose to have beveled edges. Now I'm going to choose the rounded edge, and then I'm going to choose leave as is, and then I'm going to simply click on OK. So now what it's done, and I'm going to just zoom in a little bit. Now you can zoom in either by percentage, or you can use your control button and roll your mouse wheel up to zoom in and roll your mouse wheel down to zoom out. But I want to zoom in, so I'm holding control and I'm rolling my mouse wheel up. Now what this is going to do is it's actually going to cut the word out of this section that's at the back. Now just so that you can visualize it nicely, what we can do is we can go to our properties bar, and we can choose to fill this area with color. At the moment it has no color, but I'm going to fill it with pink so that you can see exactly what this is going to look like. Now what's happened is that the border that I've put around it with that offset line is in front of my word. So what I can do is I can either right click and say arrange and send to the back so that my word is now in the front, or I could have gone to my layer tool and found my word. So there's my shape that's behind the word, and there is the word itself. So if I click on that, it will take me straight to that word. Now what I'd like to do is color that in a different color. So I'm going to go to my fill, and this time what we'll do is we'll just choose a light gray and say OK, and there I have my word now on top of that background. Now remember, the ScanNCut won't see any color. This is purely a tool for us to be able to visualize what things are going to look like once they are done. Now if you are going to be cutting this out as one unit, then it's easy enough just to send that through to your ScanNCut, and then it's going to cut this word hello out of the pink background, and it will cut the pink background out. So basically if I change this color to white now, you'll see that this is what your design is going to look like. So wherever the white bits are, that word would have been cut out, so there will be gaps in this pink area here. Now you can use this technique for all sorts of things. You can use it for this particular technique where you want to cut something out of a background, or you can use it for layering heat transfer vinyl. Now there is a separate video on how to layer heat transfer vinyl, and then I show you the entire process in that YouTube video. So I'll put the link below to that video. So if you are interested in layering heat transfer vinyl, then you can watch that video. But I just wanted to show you all the fun things that are available, especially now that you know that you can access any font that you like to use on your ScanNCut. Now let's go and have a look at some of those examples that I showed earlier. So I'm going to start off with this wedding invitation. I imported my FCM file, which is the cutting file for the actual invitation. And you can see up here, it says that this is going to be cut. So if I go to my layers tool, I can see here is the shape. So the shape refers to the entire wedding invitation itself. And that is all grouped together. So that now is in the background, and in front of it is my text. So what I did was, once I had brought the invitation in and made sure that it was set to cut, I then said arrange and send to the back, because then what I did was I went to my text tool and I chose the font that I wanted, which was the Monterey bold text, and then I typed in my text. Then what I did was I centered my text into the center of this wedding invitation, and then I set that to draw. So now that this is all ready, I can send it through to my ScanNCut machine, which will cut the invitation, and then it will stop, because then I'll insert my pen into my universal pen holder, and then the machine will write all of this text. Now here is an example of that finished invitation. After I sent it through to the ScanNCut machine, the machine would have cut the invitation because it was set to cut. Then the machine would have stopped because the next part was the writing or the drawing function. So I would have put the universal pen holder into the blade holder and then put a regular rollerball ballpoint pen inside the universal pen holder, and then pressed start, and it would have written that entire invitation out for me. Now normally you would not be able to get a fine font like this built in on the machine, and that's why it's so nice to be able to use Canvas Workspace offline, because you can choose any font that you like. And as you can see here, it really does a good job of writing that fine font. Next, we're going to have a look at these two invitations. So the teapot is a design that I imported from my ScanNCut machine, along with this little flower, which I duplicated. Then for the little heart, I went across to the elements on the left hand side, and then I just selected the heart from there. When it came to the word grandma, I just went to my text tool, and then I brought in a font that I wanted and then typed that word. Then for the one at the bottom, this once again was one of the gift tags that I imported from my ScanNCut machine, and then I went across to over here and I brought in the word from here. So there it is there. So it is so simple to bring elements in from your ScanNCut machine. Use the text tool to include text, as well as all the built-in elements that are included on Canvas Workspace. So you can create all sorts of interesting things simply by using a combination of all of those elements along with your brother Canvas Workspace offline. Just before I send these designs through to my ScanNCut, I need to just go to my little layers tool over at the side, and then I scan through to check that all of the things that must be drawn or written are set to draw, and all of the elements that need to be cut are set to cut. So it's easy enough to change those. So for example, if I look at this word up at the top here, the bridal shower, if I wanted to cut this out instead of drawing it, I can just simply go and change that to cut. However, in this case, I want it to be drawn, so I set it to draw. So you just scan through in the layers tool and check that everything is set to the right operation. In other words, what must be drawn or written is set to draw, and what must be cut is set to cut. This is the end result. So you'll be able to see that the ScanNCut cut my teapot as well as the gift tag out, and then I used the metallic permanent markers inside my universal pen holder in the ScanNCut to do all of the drawing or writing with. There is also a separate YouTube video that I've made that I will link below this video on the universal pen holder. In this example, what I did was I went to my text tool and I selected the font that I wanted, and I typed all of the words that I wanted. So I typed the two names as well as the date, and then I brought in from the elements two little hearts that are rotated and welded together. Then when I had my entire design as I wanted it, I selected my design, went up to the properties bar and filled it with black. Now the reason that I did that is so that when I shrunk this right down to the size that I wanted it, I could still read it nicely on Canvas Workspace. Because if I can read it nicely on Canvas Workspace, it means that the ScanNCut will cut it nicely too. And once it's cut, I will still be able to read it. So then what I did was I sent that through to my cutting machine, and then I'll show you what the finished result looks like. This is the end result. I used glass etched look self-adhesive vinyl to cut this design from. Now there is also a separate YouTube video on cutting self-adhesive vinyl, and you'll find the link below this video. So this is just to demonstrate that you can use those built-in fonts to create all sorts of interesting projects. If you're interested in learning more and growing your knowledge and skills with your ScanNCut and Canvas Workspace, you will definitely benefit by joining my monthly club. Club members will have access to the monthly video projects that will be posted in the first week of every month. They will be able to watch the videos whenever it suits them. They will also be able to send in project idea requests and challenges, and have access to member-only specials and promotions. Now the monthly video lessons will always include an actual project so that members can work along with the video to create the same project. And whenever there is a pattern involved, it will be supplied free of charge. I will cover techniques from the ScanNCut machine, from Canvas Workspace, and other interesting free programs. Now everything will work together to make using the machine and programs so much easier and fun to do too. So join me on this fun journey for less than the price of a cup of coffee and a muffin, because this is where you will learn new techniques to grow your skill level to where using the ScanNCut, Canvas Workspace and other programs will become second nature, and this is where fun lives. You can find the link to join the club in the description box below this video. Now, if you would like to have access to more of my videos like this with hints, tips, techniques and projects that are all about sewing, craft, decor or digitizing, remember to subscribe to my channel, click on the little bell icon, and please click on the like button, because this helps me to spread the word that sewing and crafting are fun. Thank you.